decided to do a video on the STI Staccato C2. When I was looking to buy one of these, I couldn't find much out there. I'll start with the grip. So this is the new G2 grip. I think it's a big improvement from the original grips. I didn't like how square and how large the original grips were. They rounded this off and reduced it slightly. This is the 120mm grip, which you can attach a magwell to, which is nice. I like that they did that with the shorter grip. They haven't done that in the past. They changed the mag release, so there's a Gen 2 mag release now, and I think it's a good upgrade the way they make the mag release be retained, and the grip is better than the Gen 1 style. They undercut the trigger guard a bit, which is nice. I think that was a improvement. I like the texture on it. It didn't bother me when carrying inside the pants. It wasn't too aggressive, but it's grippy enough that the gun doesn't come out of your hand when you shoot it. I like the G2 grip overall. It was a little bit too large for me to get a good purchase on the thumb safety. So I ended up switching it for this Extreme Shooters reduced grip. So Extreme Shooters made the DVC grips for STI. They reduce them and they texture them, and they undercut the trigger guard, stuff like that. But this grip is smaller, and it gives me a better purchase on it, and I can get to the thumb safety faster and better. They reduce the mainspring housing, which is nice. So when you hold the gun, you can get a better purchase, a closer. I can get to the thumb safety easier because my thumb's closer to it. But I like this texture a lot. You cannot attach a magwell. Again, this is a 120mm grip. You cannot attach a magwell to this, which I don't mind that much. I did like the idea of putting one on the Gen 2 STI grip. I did have one on there, and it was cool. I liked it. For an in the pants carry gun, it might make it a little large, but one thing, if you do put a magwell on the Gen 2 grip, STI advertises on their website as shipping these guns with two 17-round 126mm mags and one 16-round 120mm mag. Well, that's not true. Now they're shipping them with three black 120mm 16-round mags. So the mags fit very nicely. I like the way they fit. They look good, I think. They fit nice and flush, and it's just aesthetically pleasing to me. But if you put a magwell on there, this magazine doesn't fit. You need a 126mm magazine, which they no longer ship with the gun. So this is their new magazine. I suppose obviously it's a Gen 2 magazine for the Gen 2 grip. They're cheaper, they're better, and this is a black one now. I guess that's what they're shipping with these guns, the Staccato C2. And one thing I like about it is they put these new base plates on them, which are really nice, and they're aluminum. They were always plastic in the past, and these are aluminum, and I like the feel of them, and I like the look of them. And this is the Extreme Shooters grip, and it fits very nicely in there also, nice and flush. Just looks good, I think. The trigger out of the box on this was exactly 4 pounds, which is what they advertise. I shoot a decent amount, and my like competition 2011 has a 1 pound 15-ounce trigger, so 4 pounds for me, even for a carry gun, is a little bit heavy. So I made this one about 2 3/4, which is good. It's very shootable, and it's not too light for me for a carry gun. For the average person, that might be a little light. Also, these come with nice, I forgot to grab them, I had to show them to you. They come with pretty nice Dawson fiber optic sights. Well, the front one's fiber optic, and the rear one is this rear charger that's just blacked out from Dawson. I replaced them with these night sights. I just thought I would like more like night sights on my carry gun. I was hesitant to change them because the fiber optic sights that it came with were really nice. Usually I don't care for a blacked out rear that much, but the fiber optic was large in the front, and it really caught your eye nicely. These slide serrations are nice and deep and grippy, and they're not sharp at all. I like it a lot. So the main reason I bought this is because I kind of wanted the ultimate carry gun, and so this gun is 25 ounces, which is pretty good, I think, for a 2011. A lot of that is due to obviously the polymer grip like all 2011s have, unless you buy like a Phoenix Trinity or something like that and get a metal or aluminum one. But this frame is aluminum. So usually when you buy a 2011, the frame is steel. Well, this one's aluminum to cut down on the weight, and it's a nice feature, I think. That's probably the main reason I bought this, is because of the weight, the capacity, and the trigger. I'm big on good triggers, and this has as good a trigger as you can get in any gun. The TLR-8 fits quite nicely. If I can get it on there. It fits well. Looks good, I think. Nice gun overall. I have about 400 rounds through it. I think I'm going to go put another 100 through it today. Like I said, Dawson gives you 3 of these magazines, 16 round, 120 millimeter. I had a stainless one sitting around. Same thing, 120 millimeter. I put a Dawson +1 extension on it, which really doesn't add much to the base plate. As you can see, it doesn't add a whole lot, and it gives you an extra round. Doesn't fit in the gun quite as nicely as the other ones, but I might carry it for a backup mag or something like that. But it works reliably in the gun, which is a nice thing. A lot of times with the Gen 1 guns, the magazines were a pain, and the magazines were a lot more expensive. So these new Gen 2 mags are great because Dawson has them on sale right now for $45. Not black ones, stainless ones. These ones, $45. But they work all the time. Well, most of the time in my experience, anyway. You don't need to adjust the feed lips or anything like that. And the few 2011s I have, they've been all working good. You can see the gun has, I don't know if this is focusing or not. STI Firearms is written on the bottom, Georgetown, Texas, USA. Now they put the American flag on it rather than 2011. It says Staccato C2 on it. This is a drilled and tapped mag release for the Gen 1 grip. You have to buy a new mag release for the Gen 1 grip because that Gen 2 mag release is different. The magazine release spring in the Gen 2 was much lighter than in the Gen 1. I ordered a slightly reduced power one for this. In addition, in the meantime, I cut off a couple coils of this to make it a little bit lighter. It was really heavy, which isn't bad for a carry gun. That's probably a pretty good thing. But it was a little too heavy for me, so I made it closer in weight to what this is. This was drilled and tapped. That's the only one I could get at the moment when I ordered the grip. I wish somebody made like a serrated or a checkered one, but nobody does. So I ordered a Dawson one similar to this for the Gen 1 grip. I might serrate it or checker it myself and Cerakote it. I like the grip safety on this gun a lot. I don't know how well this is focusing, but these two cutouts here are very nice. I like that a lot because like my thumb knuckle kind of fits right into the notch, and it allows me to access the thumb safety more easily. And when shooting the gun, if this is a sharper edge, it can kind of bite into your thumb knuckle there, but no problem with this. It's nice. I like that radius cut into it. They put a heavy bull barrel in these guns, as you can see. That's kind of I guess all the rage now. I'm not exactly sure why. I always kind of like bushing type barrels because when the bushing wears out, you can replace it. When the fitment wears out on this, either the slide or the barrel, you're going to have to replace one of those two major components rather than a $30 or $40 bushing. Top of the slide, they cut a flat on it. As you can see, it's flat. It's nice. I think it's a nice looking gun. Nicer looking than like the hex guns that they used to make and stuff like that. I was never a big fan of those. But it's a good looking gun. It's a good shooting gun. I have one really good group. Well, there's one flyer in the group, but one pretty good group at 15 yards. I shot with it with, I think they were 147 or 115. I can't remember. Federal Hydro Shocks. But I'll try to add that picture to the video if I'm smart enough to figure that out. So something I wanted to mention is this thing doesn't shoot hollow points all that great. I tried Corbon 115 grain plus P, double tap 124 grain plus P, Hornady critical duty 135 plus P, Hydroshock deep 135, Spear Gold Dot 124 plus P, which actually shot the best, and a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But these are 15-yard groups with Hornady critical duty and Corbon 115 plus P. I didn't save any of the other targets. I didn't even shoot the 5th shot there because I didn't see the point. The gold dots did shoot. The gold dots shot like that, but at 25 yards. This is 15. So center to center, that's roughly 1.25 inches. 1.25 inches 5-shot group at 15 yards, which for a carry gun I guess isn't terribly bad. But what has shot the best, surprisingly enough, is Federal 115 grain full metal jacket, cheap stuff. I had this box laying around, so I decided to shoot them through it. And at 25 yards, I was shooting groups that were, I would say, sub 1 inch because they were better than that. And that's at 25 yards. So, interestingly enough, it shoots cheap Federal target ammo better than at least a half dozen different types of hollow points. Also, STI puts the Recoil Master guide rod in these guns. I don't know how much it helps, but I feel like it does a little bit. But they're like $100 if you were to buy one aftermarket. But it uses 2 springs that's supposed to tame the recoil of the gun. Also, I noticed at the range while loading a magazine that these are obviously marked 16 round. But if you put 16 in there, you can't see anything through the witness hole. There's actually 17 in there right now. So the mag that's labeled 16 doesn't show anything through the witness hole with 16 in it, but it shows a round in there at 17 rounds. And there's still enough spring tension to seat this in the gun, or I'm sorry, still enough slack in the magazine to seat this in the gun with the slide shut, fully loaded with 17 rounds in there. So I would consider these mag 17 rounders, not 16. Also, this Extreme Shooter's grip, which I highly recommend, they I think they call this the bobtail. They round this off, which is nice because it doesn't give you a square edge there. So it just fits in your palm better, in my hand anyways. Like I said, they reduce these mainspring housings in the back here a lot more. You can see how much that mainspring housing sticks out. I don't know why they made it that big, but that's one issue I have, I think, with this. Now, a lot of people might not have that issue. This grip might be perfect for a lot of people. I know the Gen 1 grip people like a whole lot, and that was almost perfect for them. But to me, it was just too big. Gen 1 grip too big. This is just slightly too big. If it was slightly smaller, it would be really cool, but that's not the case. But like I said, I do like the texture. It's a nice grip. I recommend it. But for me, I just needed something slightly smaller to get a better purchase on that thumb safety. Now I could have switched out the thumb safety and got a slightly extended one, slightly bigger one, and that would have solved my issue also. But I have these grips on full-size guns, and I know I like them a lot, so I thought I'd try it for the 120mm version also. And I'm not disappointed. It is a little more rough on your side carrying in the pants. This was more comfortable. This texture was more comfortable carrying in the pants. This is a little bit sandier on your side. But not when you shoot it, actually. It's kind of weird. I noticed when I shot a couple hundred rounds out of this in one range session, it could just be me not shooting much lately, but it was actually, it didn't hurt or anything. It was just starting to bother my hand a little bit. Whereas this one, well, I only have about 120, I think, through one range session at a time with this, but it didn't bother me as much. It could just me getting used to shooting a little bit more also. But I think that's about all I have. That's all I can think of. Oh, here's the case. STI gives you a pretty nice soft case with lots of pockets and spots for mags. But I think that's about it. If anyone watches, thanks for